This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Chris Cantrell. Thanks for joining.
All right, we're back doing podcasts. We got another special guest tonight, and it's my dad, Walt Joyce.
And
Thanks for
happy
coming.
to be here. Happy to be here.
It's also James's uncle.
Yep.
And one of my best friends.
And Chris's best friend?
What? Okay.
He's flattered.
I guess
he's got
so.
him blushing already.
All right, so to start off, let's we got the modern.
That's going to cost you.
Oh boy! All right, so modern deer hunting season's coming up here in a couple weeks. Me and my dad are going on our annual trip. It's going to be a good old time. James is getting ready to do muzzleloader elk, right?
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over. I was going to go after an any bull unit, but I am going to end up shooting, well, hopefully shooting, a baby elk spike. Because
This is going to be
that's
tasty.
hopefully we can get some spikes.
Yeah, I will be.
Elk veal.
Oh, yeah. Dude, if you ever had a yearling elk, it's so good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Not one I can talk about.
I don't really want to blow my multi-season tag on a spiker, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I've had bucks in the yard every day, and I've been holding out for now 3 weeks. I'm 3 weeks in, Doug.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
It's got to be really tempting.
It is
every
tempting,
time you see
dude.
them.
This morning, I was probably the most tempting morning I've had, where there was 5 bucks in my yard, and one's actually a pretty decent, like 3-year-old, and like
boy.
their necks are starting to swell up just a little bit now, and so
Yeah.
they look even bigger. And like I'm like, oh man,
It's getting you excited.
I know, and I'm like,
The juices are flowing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys get this, but like right around the time when October hits, there's like something that kind of takes over my body.
Yeah.
Like you go out you walking out to your truck in the morning or something, and you got that crisp, cool air, and for some reason my gears start shifting in my head from like work or whatever to just like thinking about hunting all the time.
Yeah.
It just like takes your body over.
I think you think about hunting all the time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, I pretty much do all the time. But it's like the rut. Like something takes over and I can't control it.
You're in rut.
I think
Yes.
it started in August. I think we were all ready to go when August came
Yeah.
around.
I think it started in 1986.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's been ongoing forever.
That first rainy day, though, a couple days ago, like I woke up and I was like, I need to eat 8 pancakes and go hunting. And I'm like, I don't know why.
You
Like,
know what I was doing? Searching for cover.
or you.
Of course I was at work.
Yeah. That sucks.
Getting soaked.
I ate a bunch of pancakes that day.
I was thinking, crap, I'm going to have to get up early in the morning.
Oh, wait.
So Walt's living the retired life
Yeah.
now. How many years retired now are you?
We are 3 and almost a half, 3.5
Nice.
years.
Semi-retired.
Semi-retired. We keep him pretty busy doing random stuff.
Well, I was
Random months.
semi-retired for a while. I was still doing some construction scheduling, but
Consultant.
I pulled the plug. I said, I'm done.
You had enough.
Good for you, Walt. I can't wait to be done.
And what kind of construction were you doing?
Commercial, mostly schools. I was a superintendent.
We were just out at one of your schools.
He was a super big deal on the job site.
I was super pain in the ass.
Lakewood?
Yeah,
Lakewood High School.
Oh yeah, we were just there.
Yeah,
I was
our
saying
girls
how
were cheering there.
That was your
Yeah.
job site.
Yeah, and James was telling me all about it.
I buried a
50
30,000
million.
pound rock on that job site.
$50 million school.
50 million, yeah.
Man, that's a lot of tax.
Well, it was 49.
I buried a
some
rock
change.
about this tall
Yeah.
at that school. I didn't know exactly right where it is, too.
It's almost bigger than the machine.
Really?
It's probably almost a 30,000
Is that why the
rock.
parking lot goes?
Oh, no, I dug about a 10-foot deep hole and pushed it in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it's under some lawn area.
Someday.
Someday someone's gonna be like,
They're going to be grading it out.
It's the
like
future
100
the
years
future
from now.
build area.
Well, better than that. In the 90s, I did.
They're going to keep scraping the top of it.
Yeah.
And
Holy cow, this rock keeps going.
in the 90s, I did Stanwood Middle School built the gymnasium on
Yeah.
that and remodeled a bunch of
Oh
it.
my gosh.
We got a time capsule buried there.
Really?
So if you all can find
Underneath
it.
the floor or something?
No, it's outside.
Okay. Well, no, we're not going to spoil this one.
Yeah.
We're getting
Yeah,
all
we
these
don't want a
people-
bunch of yahoos.
Someone's going to find it
up.
someday.
So you got to have all these people out there cutting holes in the asphalt.
I expect to go by there next week, see 100 people with picks and shovels.
Maybe all those people that chase all those
It's
glass
not
balls
worth
going
anything.
in.
Is it under
But it was funny.
asphalt or is it under concrete or is it just in grass?
Doug, you
Neither.
can't tell you
Neither.
It's
Secret
actually,
location.
It's actually not buried.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's just covered with the bodies.
Yes. The architect and
Oh man.
construction manager.
Oh, man.
This one's gonna be a hoot.
That was back when it was fun.
Yeah, it's not that much fun anymore. I'm still doing it.
Not for long, Doug, because this podcast is taking off and
Oh.
we're making so much money.
Yeah,
You
like
can
and,
quit. You just quit tomorrow.
like
dude.
and subscribe, people. We
Don't
are almost up
tempt
to
me.
$4.
Yep. I told you we're gonna take our old ladies out to Costco once we hit that. Well, we got to get $5 probably to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna let them all buy a hot dog or
yeah,
something.
hot dog and a soda. And then we're
Is it
gonna,
$1.50?
yeah, because of sodas we can keep refilling.
Save
Yeah.
the $1.50 hot
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
They did away with the Polish dog, though.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
That's so
you
bad.
You can even
Really?
go a little cheaper.
Oh, yeah, a
I
couple
think
of
you
years
can
ago.
get a bottle of water for 20 cents at the vending machine.
Okay, enough jokes about how little.
All right,
money
we're
we
getting
have.
off track here, just like usual. So the hunting season is on its way. We're getting ready.
Modern.
Blacktails are running around all
Oh, yeah.
rampant.
So I'm going Eastern Washington, I think.
So you're
think.
gonna go mule deer hunting?
Yes.
Okay.
And when are you going? You going for the opener?
My nephew, before he goes in the service, he's never been deer hunting. So I was talking to my dad about it with my dad, but he's out of town right now. So we're like trying to figure out like when he gets back and if we can get my nephew out. And it'd be a hoot, you know, like we haven't really had a deer camp. Like we used to have deer camp
How old
every
is he?
year. 18. Good
Nothing-
kid.
Nothing like a good old deer camp.
Yeah. Gigantic.
That's
Huge.
what the world's missing. The
He is.
world just needs to have more deer camps.
You missed him. He was at the he's like twice the size I am. I mean, he could carry out like 3 deer by himself. He's a huge kid. But
Oh, he
Yeah,
was
we
at
don't-
He was at the event.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He walked in and no one like said anything because he's literally twice my size. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Chris." I'm like, "Hey, buddy."
Dude, there was a lot of giant human beings. in
Dude,
that
there was
building.
a lot of big dudes there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of
And
big
then
dudes.
but every time Cliff walks in, everyone's like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
yeah,
Cliff's a big dude.
He is a big dude.
yeah. I don't feel like the big guy in the room anymore.
No. No, I'm like a
Makes
baby.
me feel tiny, dude.
You're just like a
I'm like,
Well, when you're hanging out with me and Chris all the time, I mean,
I
I'm
know.
sure you feel like that all the time.
actually, I don't. I feel, I know my place.
But you're more handsome.
Oh yeah. See, I got the
James,
better
you make
look.
all the animals look huge.
yeah.
I can push them away far enough too.
yeah.
You're like Dr. Doolittle.
I'm
just-
the Dr. Doolittle of death.
Yeah. Come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, I've been
seriously.
doing that since you were a kid.
I know.
Speaking of, so I'm going to go mule deer.
Okay.
You're going to go
We're going whitetail hunting.
whitetail. So
There's
you're,
also muleys over there too.
Yeah.
but
There's a
you're
lot of
so you're
muleys
going to go
over there.
far east.
Yes,
I'm going to go like
But-
just over the mountains.
I'm gonna go back to that bowl and see what I see back there. I'm going back.
Have
there.
at it,
I
man.
knew you were going to go back there.
And
Yeah.
James,
Yeah, I think I'm
may,
gonna go back there opening day.
I would.
Yeah.
There's always bucks back there.
You could
Hopefully
you could
there's-
get one too, right?
Hopefully, there's some bears back there.
What?
You're going to be over here for blacktail, so you could shoot one.
Oh yeah, I could. But
Yeah,
dude,
I
I've been
thi-
passing up bucks for weeks
I
now.
think
like-
I think we all got the blacktail buck in our back pocket.
I know.
or blacktail deer in general.
Yeah, I have like I'm just using that as like a insurance policy right now, like those yard deer. That's an
Yeah.
insurance policy. But I think I don't know. I got all these plans for like late season. I really got it. My heart's set on shooting a late season deer again.
I would like to shoot. I'm hoping that buck from last year comes back.
Oh
in
my
December.
gosh.
Yeah.
Have you had pictures of him since?
No.
No, he hasn't come back.
No.
I did.
Did you ever spook him off at all? Did he ever get spooked off?
No. Not
Because
really.
I know I had a big buck the first year I was hunting out in Machias, and I never saw him again.
I don't think so. I
But
mean,
you also have a lot more area back here.
yeah. And I just started putting corn out again too, and all I'm getting is birds right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some
I know. I'm fattening up the squirrels over.
sweet mother of pearl. Yeah, I got one squirrel that's like literally should have his own like my 600-pound life. He just like waddles in and he just like doesn't even like hop anymore. He just sits there and like he'll sit on top of the pile and just like shove it. Only one squirrel. There's one squirrel in this whole like
Really?
There's never
100 acre woods.
It's because there's so many damn cats.
Yeah.
Dude. Bobcats, mountain lions.
Yeah.
Predator management.
Well,
is
there's more now that
conservation.
you moved away. So
That's wild. There's no squirrels around here.
one, literally, this is the first year in 12 years. Is the first squirrel I've ever seen.
Yeah, that means there's a lot of cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats, I almost got my second bobcat the other day. I came this close. Like, I looked out the window as I'm like walking out. I think I called Chris and told him because I was like all jacked. And I'm like walking out the door. I got my folder and everything. I'm like, all right, I love you guys. See you later. And I'm like, I glance over just like quickly at the lake as I'm walking by one of the windows.
Yeah.
And I see this bobcat walking the side of the lake over next to the dock. And I'm like, another bobcat. I just like ran down the hall, like did like the Tom Cruise slide on with my socks into the garage, ran to my gun, say, beep, 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 beep. I hit the code wrong twice because I'm like trying to do it so
You're
fast.
all fast. Come on, open.
Yeah, and then I get it and I grab, my handgun and I go out the back door there and I come around and the thing's freaking gone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dang it. Almost had number 2.
You're the bobcat killing a son of a gun I've ever met. Like,
I don't know what it is, dude. Maybe the bobcat is like my spirit. It's my
it's my
spirit animal.
Where's Heartsock at?
Here we go again, boys.
Yeah.
I had to catch myself.
Oh man. Well, keep that one under wraps, guys.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever shot a bobcat?
No, I don't want to brag, but I could have got a house cat the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I had my Red Ryder.
There I was in the living room.
Yeah,
Digging through my trash.
yeah. I'm a dead shot with that Red Ryder.
I did see a merganser the other day that was eating these things, and he was choking down a frog that was like almost as big as him, and he was like, I thought he was gonna die, dude. He was like
Trying to eat the whole thing.
oh yeah,
whole.
dude. He had the frog like halfway down its throat, and he couldn't get it past his beak. And I was just like,
The
oh my
frog
gosh.
like holding around his neck, like in the cartoon, like no, never give up.
like the frog from the cereal box from Smacks.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. But no, the thing.
Spot on with that.
This is gonna be a long podcast, Walt.
Can you do that again?
No,
That's pretty good.
no. So, I guess we should get some good stories out of Walt while we're
Yeah.
here.
I'd let you know. You guys,
I don't know if you need it.
I think you guys know a bunch about Walt, and I don't know that. I'm
So-
new into the fold. So,
Okay.
I will let you guys go ahead.
Walt, when did you start hunting?
I'm glad you asked that. Because I noticed that you mentioned several times that you started hunting late. Mm-hmm. And I, too, started hunting late. I think, big game, I think I was 29 or 30.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were a working man as well, huh?
I was a working man, but, I grew up in New York City.
Oh, they hunt different things there.
Yeah, well, let's not go into that. But anyway,
Hey, I'm walking here.
that's right. That wasn't too bad.
Get out of here.
So I was like 5 or 6 years old before I knew that the whole world wasn't covered with asphalt and concrete.
Wow.
So came out here when I was about 19. I was 19, not about. And got into construction, as I mentioned earlier. Was framing houses, and I met a friend of mine, or a guy named Jimmy. And we decided that we could be in business, which probably was not true. But we had a
dream.
We had a general contractor's license.
There you go.
And Jimmy would think about going to get a drink, and I would say, let's do it. So he was a native Washingtonian, one of the few I've ever met. And are you a native Washingtonian?
I am.
Wow, that's 2 already.
Yep.
What is a native Washingtonian?
I guess you are too, aren't you?
Yeah.
And so
Someone
is
who's
Doug.
Born and raised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not a
Right.
an immigrant into Washington.
Right.
Like I didn't come from California and just try and muck up the state like the rest of these freaking
That's
mouth
right.
breathers.
Those dang Californians.
Taking a jab at California right off the bat. I like it.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
So anyway, my partner, he was
Oh man,
he was a hunter, and he invited me to go hunting with him.
he was
And
an elk hunter, right?
he was an elk hunter. He had a couple of mules. I had no idea what I was getting into
I
at
like
all.
that.
Okay.
I didn't own a rifle or anything like that. He said I have a spare one. I didn't know it was going to be a .303 British that shot about a foot high and a foot left with iron sights. But,
Classic 303 British.
Yeah.
we went and got his mules. What we were doing was we were going in to set up a high camp,
Okay.
So like backcountry.
which I didn't know what that meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
backcountry. We're going in with the mules.
Gotcha.
And then we also went
That's
in.
not a great way to break into your very first.
Well, I had
Yeah,
no
no
idea.
doubt.
You know,
Like,
like
on mules.
I didn't know that it was special.
That's
Right.
awesome
Right?
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a camper and a trailer and all that, and we got the mules in it. Now the mules were lounging around on his mother-in-law's property down in Linwood, so they weren't doing anything all year. So they were really excited
Right.
about getting
Super
100 plus
ranked.
pound.
Yeah, I get shoved
Packs
in a
on
trailer
there
and
and,
then
you know,
go
right.
pack it out in the middle of nowhere.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we got
I
out-
like this guy already though.
Yeah.
So we drive in there, and
doesn't give a
it's
shit.
it's low camp, where we parked the camper, and we got all the stuff on the mules. Now, Jimmy, he didn't have the real stuff, so like we built pack boxes out of plywood because we were carpenters,
Right.
and he loads up the mules. I have no idea, but the nearest I could tell was the male mule Spike had camp on it and like our food, and the female had beer. Right? I mean, a lot of beer.
Was it beer in the feed?
Beer, and there was a bag of feed.
That's
Bag
what
of
beer
feed.
is.
Bag of
Yeah,
feed. Right,
bag of feed
right,
for
right.
the mules. And,
Now,
and
Jim-
and
Jim-
the female's name was Susie. So you got Spike and Susie.
Spike and Susie,
I like it.
or affectionately we called her bitches. But so we take off up this trail, and Susie sweating. Well, I don't know if they call it sweating.
Yo, they sweat. Yeah.
The sweat and there's the like white
Oh yeah.
foamy stuff coming
frothing all
down. She's
over,
frothing
yeah.
all
Yeah,
over. Right. So I have no clue. I'm from Brooklyn. So I go, Jim, what's wrong with Susie? And he's going, shit. I think I overloaded her. I go, well, what do we got to do? He goes, we got to take something off her. I go, okay. So he goes up there and he pulls the 80-pound bag of whatever it was, the pellets,
Oh, yeah.
the feed, and he throws it alongside the
They're
trail.
not leaving the beer behind.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, you're shitting me.
So I go, isn't that their feed? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, aren't I going to need that? He says, they can eat brush. They can eat the bushes. I go, okay, they're your mules. I mean, So off we go. Pretty soon. And Spike wasn't really having it. And Spike ran off with our camp on him. Susie was too tired to run. So I get up to Jim, and he's just mumbling away. And I go, man, I thought you were going to shoot that mule. He goes, what about my rifle's in the scabbard? So we go up this trail. We call it the North Ridge Trail. I don't know what it was. It gets up on top of the mountains. And we actually wound up going past the turnoff for the camp. The camp was his brother-in-law's and his dad, the family
Right.
that camped there. And we went about 1.5 miles past the camp until we caught up with Spike.
Holy moly.
And Spike was standing there with his foot in our wood stove.
Oh man.
Because,
Oh, so he
whole-
bucked off the whole thing.
the whole pack was brown hanging up underneath him, and that was the only thing that stopped him.
Oh man.
So Jim proceeded to beat the shit out of Spike. I don't know if you ever seen a grown man beat the shit out of a mule. But anyway, we eventually made it to camp, and when we came into camp, there was his brother-in-law's brother and his friend, who are both King County sheriffs, and they're wearing their King County sheriff jumpsuits.
What?
And they're shooting their service revolvers at apparently a bear ran through camp.
What?
And I went,
What were their revolvers? 38
well, like,
specials?
Yeah, 38 specials or something. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know
now
much
we're
about
talking.
things, but I didn't think that was exactly legal, but they were the law.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are you going to do? So the old
If you're
man,
listening, King County Sheriff's Department.
the old man of the group was Joe's
I don't think
dad,
that's
and they'd been hunting up there for years, and he knew the whole lay of the land and all of this. But this was for deer camp. I don't know if I mentioned this. We were going up it was elk camp, but we were going up during deer season to set up the camp so that we could go back up
Okay.
during
So
elk
it's-
season.
So it's like pre-setting up everything,
Right.
bringing in a load of probably stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, to kind of
Right.
stock
right.
away. Yeah.
Right.
80
So,
pounds of beer.
whole, more than, I don't know how many cases of beer it was. It was about 3 days for Jim, because Jim got up in the morning, he had a cigarette and a cup of coffee, and then after that he drank Oli, which was Olympia beer.
Oh, yeah.
Those of you old enough to remember Olympia beer. It's the water, because it was all water.
Olympia beer was still around.
But
when I was-
anyway, then we spent some time when we were going deer hunting while we were there. I had no idea what the hell we were doing. But we're sitting in camp in his tent one night, and he's talking about the bear that ran through camp and how he always wanted to shoot a bear. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then he started to tell me what he wanted to do with the bear rug and his old lady, and I don't know. I don't know how this podcast is rated,
I think you can use your imagination. on
yeah,
that.
it was fairly graphic, and it was like, whoa, you know, whatever,
Chris.
whatever pops your breaker.
Yeah, you know.
So we go out, and he had missed like I don't know 2 deer that trip because he couldn't hit shit. He had a lever action 32 special.
What?
Nice.
32 special.
Nice.
Which I don't think is.
Effective range is 7 feet.
So he might not have missed.
Right.
The bullet might be just stuck in the hide. So this went on for, I don't know, a couple of days.
So he has a 32 special lever action, and you got an old 303 British that
Yeah.
shoots like 2 feet high.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only a foot high, I think.
Well, the 303 British is at least accurate for what it's worth if you can adjust the
It's
2 feet.
it's a hot cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
The
I
old
had a
WCF's
10-round
not
mag,
so,
though.
it's not so
Oh,
hot.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just point it in the direction of the animal and let it have it.
It's just how fast can you reload?
Sorry, I just needed to reiterate that.
Yeah.
It was an excellent weapon. I wound up buying it from him for $35. And it's one of the few rifles I ever made money on because I sold it for $40.
Nice.
Who'd you sell it to?
Kessel rings.
Oh.
I traded it in on something. I don't remember what.
R.I.P.
Sorry.
Man, Kessel Range was a good place.
That was a great place.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it's so close to my house now.
Oh.
It hurts my heart every time that I have to go somewhere else because I'm like, man, it could just be like a mile and a half away
Yeah.
or 2 miles from my house.
It was an event to go up there, and
Yeah,
Go
it was
through the
awesome.
rack.
Yeah, you took a whole day.
you never knew what you were
Dude,
going to find.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting off topic here, but that's okay. Their used gun sales section
Oh.
was so legit.
Yeah.
Like nothing comes close to that nowadays
No.
around here.
No, and it was just like you'd walk and there's just all these walls of guns, and the doors open, and you could just take guns and touch them and rack them, and it was like the doors wide open, and there was never any shitheads that just grabbed guns and ran out.
Nope.
You know, like
Never.
Well, we were talking, 10 years at least since they've been out of business?
At least 10 years, yeah. I
But
think
there
so.
was, you would find $3,000-$4,000 shotguns
oh yeah,
on the rack that didn't even have a spot to put them in. you
right.
know? And I'd be like, holy, look at this one.
It was heaven on earth.
Oh, good old days.
Yeah, you had that problem where you pick it up and you're like, I'm taking this one home.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems there, for sure. But we were out hunting, and it was the end of the day, and we were heading back up a ridge finger, hog bag,
Right.
whatever the hell you call them out here. And we're walking along on both feet. I remember having like the rifle over my shoulders like this and going along. And I'm in front of Jimmy. He's behind me, mumbling about something. And I look up ahead and I see this bear, feeding. And I hadn't really noticed this yet. So I kind of turned around to Jim and I went, and he goes, "What?" And now the bear stands up.
Right.
And he's on us now. He's seeing us, right? And I go, "There's a bear." He goes, "Well, shoot the son of a bitch or get out of the way so I can." So, okay. And I don't know at what point he got the 303, whether I handed it to him at that point or we had switched before that or whatever. But he takes that 303 and he shoots this bear and he hit it right between the eyes.
No way.
And flipped it over. It did a somersault. Is that how you say it? Backwards.
A backflip.
A backflip?
It did a backflip.
So wait, so he actually hit it between the eyes
Right
with that
between the
303
eyes.
British?
Right between these.
how far?
80 yards, I think it was. About.
And
somewhere.
there's no scope on this gun, I'm guessing.
No scope. No.
Iron sights.
That's why you couldn't, because you'd have to get some kind of swage
imagine it's
tool.
pure
Yeah.
luck.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because it was out of the range that you could
Right.
get it sighted in. So you had to have a tool, right?
Yeah.
I read something about it. Anyway, so now we got this dead bear. And we got maybe 45 minutes of shooting light left. And we're not really sure exactly where camp is, but we know it's uphill. So, like, what the hell are you going to do? Well, I don't think we have time to really field dress it or anything. Let's just see if we can get it the hell out of here, So, hey, I've seen a lot of movies about Africa and stuff like that. So we got a pole, and we tied the bear's feet on the pole.
God.
Dude, classic,
Like-
old school.
Yeah, Buona style, right?
That was the first time, Jim.
Yeah.
First time told.
So there we go, and we took about
It's
3
tradition.
steps,
Yeah.
and the
it's
bear's going
swinging. Oh,
back
God.
and forth, and of course that makes it heavy, everything.
Right.
So that wasn't working out. So now what? Well, we'll go back to camp, and we'll get the mules,
Oh, great idea.
right?
Yeah.
So
on basically an unbroke mule, put a dead bear on the
That's
back.
never had a bear, but probably never smelled a bear.
So, which way is camp? Like
I
I
already know
point
what's
over
going
here,
to
and
happen.
he points over here. So either way, we know it's up. So we go up, and I'm like, "How are we going to find it?" I'm trying to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to find our way back to this bear, Jim? Oh, well, all right, that's fine. So I'm like, somehow I knew it wasn't fine.
Yeah. Oh man, this common sense kicks in
So
in the middle of
I
wilderness.
got out
Just leave
my
it here.
Yeah.
I got out my trusty pack of toilet paper,
Nice.
and I started flagging trees.
Attaboy. Yeah.
Every 50 yards or whatever I could see.
Which is impressive for being your first big game
Yeah,
hunt
seriously.
to have like
Well, you've never been lost in Harlem.
just a toilet paper trail back to your
Actually,
house.
that's a whole nother story, but I did. It was so scary.
So we got up
Little New
there.
York trick.
We found we found camp. We got the mules. We hustled back, thanks to my quick thinking on the trail. And we get down there, and the hair on the necks of the mules went up like when we got within, I don't know, 50 yards. They sensed something wasn't good. The female wasn't too bad, but Spike, he didn't like what was about to happen at all.
Spike just sounds like a shithead.
So he was. So was his.
This people.
So was his owner. But anyway, Jimmy, I hope you're still out there.
I hope he's listening to this.
Oh man.
I like this guy already.
He gets the mule and he ties its head into a bush pretty much as tight as he could, so can't move around, see what's going on.
Right.
Turn its head around. And we really don't have any time because we're running out of daylight very quickly. If not, we're already, it's too dark almost.
Not
You
a lot
guys
of
didn't have like
Petzl
long-
headlamps.
like 10-hour headlamp LED headlamps that would last all night.
I don't even think we had
No.
a flashlight, Jim.
Like,
He had a
propane
candle.
lantern.
Candle,
We're lucky we had a rope, and So we hadn't even field dressed this bear. So the whole bear went on the back of the mule.
and then
and then we tied the legs around underneath.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Right.
So that's cinched up underneath.
This is making its own gravy right now.
This is really good. Now I got bitches, and Jim's taking Spike out of the bush, and we're gonna head back to camp. Piece of cake, right? What could go wrong?
Oh, easy peasy. Yeah.
So Spike took like 2 steps, and every time he took a step, the head would flop up and down on the bear.
Right.
And Spike wanted to know, well, what's that?
Right.
You know, what's
Boy.
what's that?
Banging up and down.
What's that thumping on my back?
Yeah, weird.
Now, Jim was he's 5'7". He was about 135 pounds, soaking wet.
Just a huge human being.
Huge man. And he could not control Spike's head. Spike turned around, saw the bear on his back, and he took off running, fortunately in the right direction, with Jim desperately trying to hold on. And all I could think of at the time was watching cartoons when I was a kid, when you see like the cartoon carrier jump up and his legs are going like this, really fast. That's the last I saw of him going through the woods. Jim hanging on, feet touching the ground every 10 feet.
But he held on to it?
He held on to that mule.
Wow.
And they went all the way up to the main trail, which was probably, it was somewhere near a mile, I'm guessing.
Holy shit.
So,
hard pass.
now, for me, I had a very clear trail at this point.
Blown wide open with Susie, right?
Right, and here I come, with Susie up the trail, and I catch up with him on the main trail, and he finally had stopped Spike, or Spike ran out of, I don't know what happened, but he
didn't have any juice left.
He had his face in a bush again, and he was beating the living hell out of this man. And I didn't know that mules, did you know that mules are very sensitive in the nose?
I did
And
not
then
know
apparently,
that.
if you stick your fingers up their nostrils and twist it really hard, they pay attention to you as you punch them in the face.
Holy moly.
We do not condone animal violence.
I'm just laughing because it's so freaking wild. I think it's pretty much the...
Is the bear
That's
still
just
on
like-
the mule?
The bear was still on the mule.
like,
I don't know if I can't remember if it's
not
swung
even
around
broke
underneath or,
mule.
Right.
He's like, I'm
Still
going to
there.
strap
But it was
this bear
still
on
there.
his back.
yeah.
Holy
And
moly.
then after that, we made it fairly uneventful back to the camp
You're kidding me.
from that point.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
That's a 180 for sure. Yeah.
Spike finally was like, okay, fine.
Spike was tired.
I've been beaten so many times,
Or I can't outrun this bear.
right? It's like,
Maybe they
tied
made
up underneath
friends on the way out.
Even
I
if
don't
the
know.
thing had
I don't
come
know.
loose and went underneath it, he would have had a bear underneath its belly, just like dragging.
But that was essentially my first experience.
Gosh, what
Big
a
game
hell of
hunting.
a first.
And you're like, this is great. I want to do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how could you not after a trip like that?
Not a lot of quitting.
I bet you in the midst of it, you were probably like, what am I doing? But after the fact, it's like those stories always like sit in your head the longest.
This is hunting?
Not only that, but I went hunting with Jim again.
That's awesome.
And his brother was another story.
This is another story.
I think my first backcountry hunt was not nearly as eventful as that. Not granted, we were going with an outfitter that had mules that were broke for all these things.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so
Yeah, they don't like just hanging out,
no, I mean we
Doing
had
nothing and
rodeos,
then
but nothing like that.
putting them to work like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my first trip, one of the young mules broke the train halfway through and took off back to camp with 3 other mules. So half of our camp made it all the way back to the truck when we were almost all the way in. And so when we showed up, the guy's like, yeah, we had to send the other guide back, and he had to get the other half at camp. And it was like 4 hours later, he finally rolled in, and they're just dog tired. And he's like, I caught up to him at the truck, like
Yeah, because
holy
they were
moly.
hanging out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the way Spike should have ran, but he ran away from the truck.
Well, that's a good thing for you guys, because that would have been terrible.
Yeah, at least he ran uphill towards camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We were
Would have
lucky.
been a different story if we
Well,
went the other
maybe
way.
Jim was steering him.
Being someone who has horses, just thinking about randomly pulling my animals out of a field after not using them for a long time,
Yeah.
and then just like throwing a bunch of crap on them and be like, we're going up in the mountains in the
Yeah.
back country.
That trip that
Yeah,
I did
you
with
probably wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do it because I know I don't want to deal with
Yeah,
that.
you know it's going to be
It's-
trouble.
It also can be really dangerous depending on where you're going.
Yeah.
remember I told
100%.
you that trip that I went with Keegan.
Oh, yeah.
So I went up there with the Friddle boys, and his dad's like a hardened woodsman, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like where it was like, to preface this, like we're hiking up. I don't know how old his dad is, 60 or something like that. He's a little younger than me, but his dad's like walking up these hills,
A little younger than me.
6 million miles an hour. Like I'm having trouble keeping up with this guy, and I'm like, oh shit, this guy, like. So long story short, fast forward, I shoot a bear. Keegan and I, his son, we find it. We're dragging it out, and we're like, hey, Ken, his dad, bring the mules. And so his dad is riding his horse, brings a mule down, like through the woods. Like the trail is non-existent. I mean, I'm talking deadfall, and you just hear this commotion, and he just materializes, and we're just like, holy crap, I can't believe he rode through all this deadfall, and he's on his horse, dragging this mule. We get over there, and he's like, well, we've never put a bear on this mule before. And I'm like, oh, sweet, fun. This is gonna be.
This should be fun.
I'm like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
When you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know,
You don't know until you find out.
when you
right?
look at my business card, it doesn't say John Dutton, or Rip. Doesn't say any of that shit. It says like real estate, guns, general shithead. So I'm like, I'm
Can
standing
I have
there.
one of your cards?
Yeah. Revivals on Sundays, the whole deal. So same thing. I'm standing there, and I'm like, I don't know. And he's got the mule tied to a tree, a small one, and he's like, Ken's like, the dad. He's like, oh, you got to put a vest over its head so it can't see you, right? And then we try to put the bear on, and the mule gets a whiff of this bear and tries to kick a hole through me.
Oh,
Which was
jeez.
super, because it spins around this little tiny tree like 270 degrees, and it's kicking, and I'm just like,
Like,
God.
immediately.
Oh,
right?
immediately.
Now you're bringing back some memories.
Oh, yeah. So then he
I left that part out.
he gets just absolutely fired up. And I can't remember what he took something.
We'll
and,
fix it in post.
Yeah. We'll just rewind it back. And so he takes like a t-shirt or something and rubbed it on the bear, and like, he doesn't assault this mule, but like aggressively shoves this bear soaked, drenched thing up the mule's nose. And he's like talking shit to the mule while he's doing it. He's like, you're going to smell it and you're going to like it, And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And he's like, well, now he can't smell anything but the bear, so he will stop, like kicking or
Right.
whatever. And he did, but it was a rodeo.
Interesting.
It was a freaking rodeo, yeah.
Gosh, that's the best.
And I'd never packed a bear out on a mule before, and that was my first. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
But he actually had something to put the bear in, right?
oh yeah, they had like
Pack frames.
and the like special bags, and
Yeah.
but they were very meticulous.
So
Like, when
did you guys have anything like a frame or anything, or did you just literally tie the barrel on its back?
Just literally, it was bareback.
Oh my gosh!
Bareback.
No wonder it was a damn rodeo.
Dude. Wow. Mine was even in.
About it. How long ago was this?
That is
Did
the
I mention we were
definition of
running out of
bareback.
daylight?
Yeah, wait.
Let's just tie this.
is like
What year was
this
that?
Like,
Well, you think?
I think it was 84. 83 or 84.
Okay.
A couple years before I was born.
yeah, it's a while ago.
Yeah.
We actually did wind up going back up for elk camp because we had it set up. And I
So-
did get an elk that year.
You're shitting me.
No.
Your first time elk hunting, you got an elk.
My first big game animal
You
was
shot an elk.
with that 303 British.
Oh my.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell me that story. I don't have anything to do.
This is a
Well-
special guest episode.
That's right.
So we went back up to the high camp, and
is
we
this
were
in the same season?
same season?
Okay.
So
Just a little later.
more
Or
beer.
Earlier. I don't
More
know.
beer.
More beer.
More-
Reloaded.
Well, actually, now maybe two mules with beer on it because we already had camp up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lasted about 3 days, and then Jim needed more beer and had to go back down.
This guy was a heavy drinker.
So the old guy,
130 pounds.
Milton, who ran the whole camp, the dad, who ironically is about the same age as I am now, he knew where the elk were, where they went, which way they went, and he would always engineer everybody to do all of the things that would funnel the elk right to him.
Sounds like Vern.
Right.
Yeah.
Deer.
So they're talking around camp and they're saying, well, I heard elk over there on the other side of the whatchamacallit creek. Oh, yeah, okay. I heard shots over there. You know what that means? And everybody, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we know what that means. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? You know?
Right.
It means they're going to be on the steep side tomorrow, right? This is the side that they're all trying to avoid having to hunt, right?
Okay.
The steep side. So we take off in the morning, and now Jim went back to low camp to get more beer. But I
He
went
said,
along.
the hell with hunting. Let's go get more
Well,
beer.
You can't hunt without beer, you know. So I go traipsing along with the brothers-in-law and what have you, and Milton, and we're going down a ridge again on this steep side, as it were. And he's dropping people off at, I don't know, 100-yard intervals or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Now, I think he figured that the elk were down low because he dropped me off first up near the top.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, wait about 10, 15 minutes or whatever, so we can all get and start to sweep across the side together. I'm like, okay, whatever that means.
So you.
So
some
I
sort of a
waited.
push. Kind of like a bumping push. Like you're just kind of trying to bump them and maybe move.
He figures they're on that side somewhere, and someone's going
someone's
to
gonna
jump
run
on,
into
and it's
one.
gonna
Someone's gonna run into them.
It's going to
Okay.
run
Yeah.
into some, and it's going to run down
Okay.
to someone. And he's figuring they're down low, so he's putting himself down low.
Yeah, the good spot.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
thinks he's going to be the one to run into him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course he was giving himself the best position, and since I wasn't one of the sons, I got theoretically the worst position.
It's not.
So I'm going along on the steep side where you could you can only stand on 1 foot.
Oh,
touch
yeah.
Those are my favorite spots.
Yeah.
Ask James.
Well, I was a lot younger, but I can't remember what we ate the night before. I don't know. It was when we had the medium rare bear heart, but
Oh, jeez.
I wound up getting the shits so bad that morning that
Classic hunt camp story.
I was going from one tree to the next, marking them. I must have crapped 10 times, And you know when you think that's got to be the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out of toilet paper. I'm out of handkerchiefs. I'm wondering what.
Don't socks anymore.
I'm wiping my ass with blades of grass. I don't know. And I'm thinking, hey, this hunt's pretty well blown.
Yeah.
I don't know much about elk, but I think they could probably smell that. And so as I was pondering my situation, I hear this crack up in the timber up above me. I'm like, what the hell is that, And I look, and I could see these brown bodies moving through the trees. So the elk were above us. They were above me even, and they were coming down. I was like, oh, shit. And I'm looking, and I can see they're angling down, and I'm scanning ahead, and I'm looking for a spot where maybe I might have a clear shot, because I'm in pretty thick timber.
Now your pants around your ankles or around your waist right
No,
now?
they were up. They were
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Got my trusty 303 British.
Okay.
And I could see this.
Have your pants down.
I can see this one swath that's about maybe 8 foot wide where I might have a clear shot at him. And it was a bull and a cow. And I went, oh, man. So when they came through that spot, I took a shot with this 303 British, and they both stopped and stood there. I was like, what the hell just happened? So now I'm trying to get another round in the 303 British. I don't know if you've ever, you look like you've run the 303 British.
Yeah.
But if you short stroke them, it doesn't work too good.
No.
You know?
It's like an all-in-one action.
Finely tuned machine.
Yeah.
Never seen a day used in its life.
So I'm trying to get another round in, and I'm looking up at the hell, can I get another round? And I wound up with 9 cartridges on the ground around me, and I finally get this last one in, right? And the cow had walked off, but the bull's still standing there. And I'm going, well, what the hell just happened? Because this ain't right. And then the bull took a step, and it kind of went down. What happened was I hit it high, and it broke its back.
Oh.
So I went, oh, well, I got it, I guess.
I guess this is elk hunt. This is easy.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
Yeah. So then it started to slide down the hill or the mountain.
Yeah.
And it was coming right at me. And it came, and it slid down. It was about 80 yards or so. Everything seems like it happens at 80 yards. And it slid down, and it got itself wedged between a tree and like a sapling.
Okay.
That's what stopped it. But it stopped it on the game trail that I was standing on 1 foot on. So I shot it in the head. You know, I'm like,
Classic.
you know. And so, fortunately, they had told me what I should do, you know.
Fortunately.
Still,
Well,
I'm thinking, no guidance. You probably never gutted an animal.
Never
You've
got
never
an
skinned
animal.
an animal.
Well,
You've
you know,
never
I
done any of
gutted
that.
fish.
And you shot a bull elk fish. Same.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but
Same
when
thing,
I gut a
just
fish,
cut it
I
open.
just stick my knife all the way in and go like this up.
Well, they had
You do that on a bull elk, it's going to be hot.
It
ass
eats on this
express.
end. It poops on this end. It's the
Right.
same.
Well, I went to elk camp school, and I learned.
Okay.
You know. And they told me if you're on a steep side to tie one leg off to something so it doesn't slide downhill. That was very good advice.
That was
100%.
very good advice.
Ooh, pro tip.
Pro
right
tip.
there.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
The
Pro
Walt
tip.
pro tip.
Pro tip.
And then the other thing they told me was when you skin it, stake out the hide, right, as you skin it out, so that it keeps the meat clean because you keep it on top of the hide.
Another pro tip.
Yeah.
Walt pro tip number 2.
So I'm doing all that. I'm covered head to toe in blood. I mean, I really got into it.
Attaboy.
And then I was trying to take the head off, but I had a knife. And I really did a job on the neck because I didn't know exactly where.
Well, first time, and then you're doing it all by
I
yourself.
was doing it all by myself.
It's so much freaking work.
Now they told me that if
So are
anything
you
happened, that they would
quartering
hear
it?
that they would hear the shot. One. Okay. They did not. Or,
Oh, no.
or to build a fire, and they would see the fire. Well, I had like 3 fires going, 3 campfires going. Nobody came. There I was.
This is
Just me.
This is hunting back in the good old days, guys.
Pre-cell phones, pre-inReach,
Kmart
pre-radio.
knife. You know.
I don't even know
Nice.
if they had radios.
No, we didn't
well,
have radios.
Probably not up there.
No.
Those for the rich and
No
famous.
radios, no cell phones, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the other pro tip that they told me was to get some sticks under the carcass to lift it up
For air circulation.
for air circulation.
Boy, these are some solid pro tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I managed to. Well, first off, I tried to
very
pull that
smart.
elk back out of the sapling and stuff.
Oh, so easy.
To
Yeah,
lay
bull
it-
elk are
lay it down.
just super easy to move by
Yeah,
yourself.
Well, I wound up cutting down that sapling with my knife to get it to roll over
Oh, because
And
you
you-
couldn't move
because
it.
I could not pull
Right.
it out.
Yeah.
It was wedged in there.
And
So
all,
it was easier to cut the tree down.
and all you have is a knife.
All I had was a knife. Yeah.
No saw, no hatchet, no.
No.
Impressive.
What kind of knife?
I don't know.
It was a Swiss Army. It's a full one.
It's probably a 3
It actually might have been.
Kitchen knife.
It actually might have been the Lakota, because I think I bought
okay.
that in the late 70s. So a pretty decent knife. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's where I left it. I did not quarter it. No.
Okay.
But you
So-
got the gut out. You got it skinned.
I got it skinned. I got the guts out. I got it elevated. I couldn't get the head off.
Your
So-
first, and you never skinned anything, never got anything.
No, I put a lot of holes in that hide.
That's still super freaking impressive.
Yeah, right?
A lot of holes in that hide.
Yeah.
Because I had it tanned. It looked like.
So did you guys start in the morning?
Swiss cheese.
pretty much.
Good tax. I'm just gonna fix that.
Yeah, right.
Well, it wasn't anything mountable, but. So
Walt, take a look around.
Jim comes. Jim comes back with his beer. At the end of the day, my pants had so much blood.
How'd they finally find you?
My pants had so much blood on them that you could stand them up in the corner.
Oh my god.
It was not pretty. They didn't find me. I found my way back to camp. I never saw those guys again
Oh,
until
so you went back. You left it, and you went back to
I
camp
left it and
Holy
I went
crap.
back to camp. Yeah,
to get help.
to get help.
And like,
Yeah.
what time did you get back to camp? You think?
Well, I think this all took place about 9:30 in the morning. So fortunately, I had the whole day.
Oh,
I don't know exactly what time I got.
It was still
back to
light
camp.
out.
yeah.
It was still light. Yeah,
Good for you.
Probably late afternoon.
Yeah,
Shit.
Yeah.
The middle,
I know.
middle
And then
of the
Jimmy
night.
comes
yeah.
back and he's like, "You did what?" He's pissed, because now he knows that tomorrow he's got to saddle up the mules
Right.
and go down and get this thing. So then the mules were very convenient, and then we had time to put the makeshift pack frame that we had made with plywood boxes, and I think he had a saddle for Spike, so he helped me quarter up the elk and get it bagged up and in the boxes. And
Nice.
How big a bull was it?
it was really a Spike, but the one side was forking, so I don't know weight wise what it was, but
Did you know my first bull was a Spike in Washington?
yeah.
Did you know I have it mounted? It's at my dad's house.
Really?
Yeah. Shot it at
I
220
wasn't
yards
even
with,
thinking things
with
like
a
that.
muzzle loader. Yeah. 54 cal.
Don't tell me that. I'm about to go on a muzzleloader.
I don't.
I'm not shooting 220 yards.
Open sights.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know what I'd done really.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's just elk
I
hunting.
guess this is how you elk hunt
Yeah.
now.
No big deal.
Yeah, you just go out there, shit all over the place,
Oh my gosh.
Shoot out.
shoot out.
It must be not that hard.
Came here to do two
Right.
things, boys. And I'm all out of
Just
shit.
like bears. I don't know what the big deal is with the bears.
That's crazy.
Well, you know, Walt, they're where you find them. I'll tell you that much.
The bears are where you find them. The elk are where you find them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deer are a little bit more patternable.
a little bit. Yeah.
Well, when you go to Cabela's and buy a pallet of corn,
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a pear tree and an apple tree and a bunch of
oh,
other
I want.
stuff.
Did you see
And the ponderosa.
The ponderosa.
the place down the road here? The guy was mowing and he pushed all the apples into the ditch. There's like, I swear, like 100 gallons of apples in the ditch. And I came by and there was a doe and two fawns just like standing on top of the apples in the ditch in the middle of the night. We came home from the football game with Gloria that
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Yeah, like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, Don wakes
Oh,
up. What's
dude.
it? What?
I almost hit a deer the other day that jumped out in front of me, jumping out of the ditch.
Yeah.
I was like, the funny thing is, like, I was so zoned out that I didn't even tap the brakes. Like, I was just like, oh, that's a deer. And it would, like, came within feet of me just nailing
Really?
it. And I just was like, I didn't even tap the
Oh,
brakes.
dude, I locked them up. Dawn and Gloria were sleeping in the back, and you just hear like heads hit the back of the seats. Deer, deer.
Were they even in the road?
No,
You're
no, they're
coming
just
home
standing
with
there,
me
just
now.
eating, like looking at me, like
You just had to look at them.
yeah.
I thought Doug was going to hit one on the way over.
Yeah, there was
He
a
was
couple
standing
deer
on the
standing on
white
the
line.
side of the
He
road.
was standing on the white line.
Dude, I saw a bunch of deer on the way here. I took the back roads from the school there at Conway and just like dropped through, and I did see a dandy buck up the road here.
Back roads.
After we get off the podcast,
Very
you tell me,
close.
shush,
It's too far.
www, zip it.
You don't know where we are.
We're in
No-Tell Mountain.
Yeah.
we're in Cleellum.
We're in Nunya.
None of your business. Not like you can't.
Well,
times.
what's your I feel like you got a lot of them, but I feel like I need to squeeze out like another hunting story or two
Yeah,
here.
we can
What's
sacrifice anything we
boy.
have to say.
Yeah, what's your favorite hunting story?
Favorite?
Yeah, your favorite. / most memorable, or just let them rip. I don't give a shit.
It doesn't even have to be a story. What's your favorite hunting moment?
That's it.
Well, enough.
Well, it had to be always hunting with Jim. Because
Not this Jim.
not this Jim.
I was like, thanks,
Well, maybe it was
Shot
hunting
through
with
the
Jim.
heart.
You upset him so bad he had to leave.
Yeah.
He does that. He's gonna go cry in the bathroom for
It's
a little bit.
okay.
He'll be back.
Well, it was always an adventure hunting with my partner, Jimmy. There's a couple of times
he's a class act. I've heard the stories about where this guy's been and who he is. And man.
yeah, I'll give a little background on Jimmy. Jimmy was a gunner on a helicopter in Vietnam.
Okay.
And
If you know anything about that, they didn't last very long.
He's
No.
seen a few things.
no, he said he had a box of grenades on one side and some smoke grenades on the other side. And he said he never threw a smoke grenade ever
Why?
because the other grenades marked the positions just as good.
Boy.
And then they got busted for water buffalo hunting. They took a chopper up,
Really?
without any orders, and they were all drunk up and went water buffalo hunting.
I like this guy. Yeah. Because if I had a helicopter, you know what I'd
He
do?
may or may not still be alive.
Chances are good he's not. But they
If he
they
is,
had to
I'm
take a
not too worried
piss. They had to
about
take a piss, so they landed on this.
What are they gonna do?
I'd be like, I am pleased to meet you, sir.
I've heard some pretty wild stories about you.
They land on this hillside, and they jumped out to take a piss, and apparently they didn't land level.
Right.
And one guy stood up too soon, and it took his head off.
Holy shit.
So he wound up in the brig.
That'll
For that.
Yeah, that'll ruin your day
He
for
was
sure.
getting court-martialed.
Holy moly!
And yeah, he was
This
in.
guy was pretty hardcore.
He was pretty hardcore. So we went. I don't know if we were going elk hunting or we were going deer hunting. But at this point, Jim never had a driver's license or anything because
Because he's a general contractor.
he had several DWIs, and at this point, by this point, I knew maybe I should just drive myself, not ride with him. And I was behind him
You're the smart one of the
and
two.
his brother Tim. His brother Tim was driving this
Oh man,
a Toyota.
I've heard
Yeah.
all these stories,
Right.
guys. That's why
So-
I'm not participating in this conversation.
So-
but they're awesome.
We get off the main highway. No, we get off the main highway. Tim was really drunk. I mean,
And Tim's driving?
when I was when I was following him on I-90, my conscious thoughts were, am I far enough back for when he wrecks that I won't plow into him, right? And he was like, he wasn't just out of his lane. He was like all 3 lanes, like this. And he wound up cutting off the semi, and
We don't condone drunk
it was
driving.
really,
Oh, my gosh.
it was really pretty scary. And
You might need another drink for
we
this, Chris.
we're going. We finally get off the highway, and we're on these dirt roads. I don't even remember where the hell this was. But we stop to get our plan together, what we're going to do. And Tim says to his brother Jim, now don't drive too fast because I don't know where we are. Well, you might as well have told Jim to drive like a bat out of hell, because that was like a challenge.
Yeah, fifth
at
gear
this point.
sounds good.
So here we go.
Pin it to win it.
Here we go. In the dark.
I-90.
In
No,
the
this is on
dark.
a gravel road.
Oh, jeez.
in the dark. I don't know how fast we were going, but we were screaming along.
Oh boy.
And I'm, like I said, I'm trying to stay just back far enough that I can still see taillights, but and Jim is like, I almost can't even see his taillights anymore. And Tim's trying to keep up. And the next thing I know, Tim goes off the road in this clear cut. Just like
What?
Maybe you saw something.
off the side, like that. And I go, holy shit, you know, he went off the road. Is he dead? You know, because, I mean, you're going to hit a stump or,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
what, you know, all the stuff that's in
Yeah.
Clear cuts. Yeah.
right? It's not like a clear path.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
And then I look up, and Jim didn't know that he went off the road, so he's just still hauling ass. And I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I stop and look for Tim, or do I just follow Jim? You know, because I don't know where he's going. And so I slow down, and I'm thinking about it. What am I going to do? And it's pitch black over there. And all of a sudden, up comes this truck out of the clear cut, in the air, back on the road.
Classic.
Do you remember the
Dukes of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard? It reminded me. There was a show used to be on years and years ago called Rat Patrol, where they jumped out of the sand dunes and it was the Africa Corps. And,
But it sounds awesome.
and he's like, wow, bam.
Hey, you got enough Olies
Dude,
in you,
that
you can do
is-
just about anything.
That is rowdy.
Yeah.
I feel like only a good old
So
boy
did you
can
guys
make that
shoot
one.
anything on that
I
trip?
was gonna say, what was the
I think-
conversation
Yeah.
when you guys stopped?
I think Tim shot a porcupine. So we're at camp. I come in at lunchtime,
Dear Lord.
and Jim looks at me and he goes, "You need a drink?" And I go, "Okay, sure." So he gets out a tumbler, and he takes the VO, and he fills it to the top, like this, and then he takes the 7-Up, and he just like, "Here you go." I'm like,
Did you pour it in there?
okay, no. It was like 8 ounces of
He
VO.
just serenaded it with it.
Going all in. So Tim's already hammered. I don't know what he was doing all morning. Jim was pretty drunk, and then I think he had lent Tim that 32 special, or maybe
Jeez.
Tim had his own lever. I remember it was a lever action, and Jim accidentally knocked it over. It was leaning up against one of the rigs or something. He knocked it over. So he picks it up. He goes like this, boom! I cleaned the barrel for you, Tim.
Classic.
I'm going, okay.
Classic. Just checking the sights.
Just checking.
Cleaning the barrel.
So then after
Would you
that,
expect anything else after flying your truck up out of a clear cut on
Right.
the road?
FYI, don't do any of this.
Yeah.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen.
and then Jim goes, "Which way you going to go hunting?" And I go, "Which way you going?"
Away from the bullet that you just shot.
Dude, this sounds like an action movie.
He goes,
Like we could just write a
"I'm
script.
gonna go. I'm gonna go that way." I go, "I'm going that way."
Go the opposite. Go the opposite
So I
direction.
think he made it about 100 yards and then passed out under a tree.
What?
Well, you know, from being drunk.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Get tired of walking.
So,
This looks like a
when
good
he-
spot to
when
take
he
a nap.
woke
Oh
up-
boy.
He didn't know where he was. You know,
Yeah.
because he didn't know how he got there, or which way camp was, or any of that.
Jeez.
So.
Classic.
And then
pass out drunk.
Tim shot the porcupine. So they got
First
this,
of all-
they got this
What
porcupine.
did he shoot it with?
I don't even know if I like why. Why?
I'm not sure. It was all new to me.
He's just hammered drunk. He's like, there's
I've-
one
I've heard they're delicious.
porcupine.
Well, I'm not sure.
I don't.
But they were.
would
something tells me they weren't doing it for the food.
They were-
I would hate to skin
Well,
one.
they actually did
Oh
cook
God!
it. They
Did
actually-
they really?
Yeah, they shoved a stick up his ass. The fire. Asked me how I like my porcupine.
Just completely hammered, just cooking a porcupine over a fire.
Oh god.
And then they passed it around on the stick, and well, I didn't have any. I was still sober enough.
Everyone got diarrhea.
Probably still raw.
No, it was pretty burned to a crisp, I think. It was like, when you get your marshmallow too close to the fire.
Catches on fire.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they're pretty greasy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then he had this porcupine skin, right? So the last watering hole on the way over the pass was in Clay Elm. I think it's called the Getaway.
What are we referring to when you say watering hole?
Are you talking about Roslyn?
He's talking
No.
about a bar.
I'm talking about a bar.
I know.
And they were
Roslyn, like,
having-
the brick or something.
And it must have been deer season because they were having a Halloween contest
Okay.
that night. Like
Oh,
best costume.
I can see where this is going already.
So we're doing our best to talk Tim into putting his porcupine skin on his head. And going
So gross.
you're a sure winner, Tim. Almost had him doing it. And it would have been worth the drive.
It would have been totally worth the drive.
Just walk into a costume contest with a raw porcupine skin on your head.
Easy winner, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Easy winner.
Yeah. Easy.
Oh gosh.
Down that no one knows you.
A little bit of innovation, a little bit of horror at the same time.
I thought it was a heck of a good idea. But
It's a great
of
idea.
course, I wasn't going to put it on my head.
I'm dying.
Oh gosh.
Jim was always coming up with stuff like, he shot, I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was the bear. Maybe it was something else because I went on several hunts with him. But he was field dressing this animal. And he goes, give me your hat. And I go, give me your hat for what? He goes, I put the liver and the heart in it.
Your hat?
I go, what? Put it in my hat. He goes, yeah, that's what you do. I go, put it in your own damn hat. Put it in my hat.
Why would you put it in a hat?
Maybe they didn't have a bag. That's
They didn't
what-
have bags back
Listen,
then.
as a
Did you
good-
guys not have backpacks back then?
All he carried was beer.
Backpacks. No.
Jeez.
as my good friend Matt Hartsock would say, this is how the Cowboys do it.
Yeah.
Well, we packed out an elk for him. One time it was in the snow.
Oh my gosh.
We shot this elk and he loaded up. We actually had a backpack that time.
They were invented, I'm pretty sure.
I had my Kmart pack frame.
Oh, nice.
I think I spent $19.99 on it.
Jeez, that's a lot of money
And
back
we
then.
went and got this.
Surprised
And
Kmart had something
Jim
like
had to
that.
bring beer with him, no matter where he went.
Yeah.
Now we got a foot of snow on the ground. It's like 5 degrees.
Yeah.
Right? Who's thinking about beer?
Jim.
Jim. So
Yeah.
so anyway, we got to the elk and we had to drink this beer and boy.
You guys were some killing machines,
But
though.
what we did was all the cans, when we crunched them up, we put them in Jim's backpack under the meat. So they ground into his back.
Oh my gosh.
He went,
Just grinding right into his bottom of his back.
we
lower
found a
back.
guy.
He probably didn't even feel it.
First we went in there, there was 4 of us, but his cousin Charlie kind of, I don't know. And this
Now there's a cousin Charlie involved?
cousin Charlie, this was cousin Charlie's camp. Elk camp.
okay.
It was up in
different elk camp.
a different elk camp.
Okay.
So he shot the spike. We were supposed to leave and go home that day, and he didn't show up at camp at the designated time to pack up the tent and all that, right? Son of a bitch has got one down. You know it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, sure enough, he moseys into camp about 4:30. Yeah, he's got one down. It's about 1.5 miles in there. And this area there's a road that went all the way around it, but it was I think it was 17 miles on that road all the way around it.
Wow.
So when you got in there was a lot of ups and downs. You really couldn't see, get any kind of orientation at all. But we go plowing in there, 4 guys, and we got in there, and I bet we weren't more than 100 yards off the road at that point, and we found this guy that was lost. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so glad to see you guys." He was younger than us. So glad to see you. I'm lost. Like, which way's the road? And we go like, every way. You know,
Every
you
way.
just go in one direction,
Yeah.
you're going to hit the road. He's going, "Oh man, I'm so glad to see you." He's telling us, came in last night, and they were drunk, and he took off in the morning hunting, and now
like the 80s.
he doesn't know where his camp
Every
is.
hunting story in the 80s started out like this.
So you didn't look at a compass and see which way you were going. There's no GPS, right?
Right.
Seems like you're the only competent one that was out in the woods and you were doing it, right?
Yeah. So he goes,
And
we
buddy,
go,
What are we doing, Jim? We're doing it all wrong.
Right. So
We
we go,
used to do it like
You just need
okay,
to go wander out in the woods and get lost.
the road is,
Best hunting's done that way.
just follow our trail.
Yeah.
How hard is this? Four
It's
guys
in the snow.
went through a foot of snow.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I mean, we left a pretty good trail.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just follow our trail and take you right to the road.
Right.
And there's camps over there. You'll be good. It's like, okay, thanks. So we take off to go get Jim's mule, and I mean Jim's elk. And I don't know what happened to Charlie. Charlie, he went off somewhere else. I don't know.
Porcupines, who knows?
That if you knew Charlie, that wouldn't seem odd to you. But anyway, so three of us went in. We get this elk. We did the thing with the drinking the cold beer, so your hand stuck to the can because it was so cold. Go out. The three of us are carrying this whole friggin' elk, right? My friend Mike, he was carrying like the hind quarters of two legs up in the air like this, and so every time he hit a low branch, it flipped him over.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a turtle.
Yeah.
We'd have to laugh at him for a while before we help him back up. But we come back and we get to about the same spot where we found this guy going in. Now, it's past an hour or two. I don't know. I think it was about 1 o'clock in the morning by the time we, got back to camp. And we find this guy almost like in the same exact spot.
Wait, so it was like the middle of the night? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
he's-
same guy?
Same guy. Same
What
guy.
the?
He's wandering around. And he goes, "Oh man, I was trying to start a fire. I couldn't start. I even burnt my elk tag.
What?
I'm never.
Is this
going,
guy a little slow? He's got like a thick neck and like,
I'm never going
You're
hunting
coming
again.
home with me now.
yeah,
Go,
you
"All
live with
right."
me now.
Well, yeah. Just come with us.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, we get back to the camp, get a fire going, start to get everybody warmed up, get this guy warmed up. And he takes his rifle and he throws it in the snowbank, right?
What?
Yeah.
This guy's
Because
retarded.
I'm never going hunting again. No one anything to do with it. And Jim, he goes, "So you don't want that scope?"
Sweet new gun.
Goes and grabs
He's
it.
going to take the scope.
Just take the whole thing.
So like, hey, be serious now because we got to pack this camp up. I had to be at work in the morning,
Oh, my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you guys are supposed to meet to pack out.
Right,
But
right.
he shot something, so you had to go help. Yeah.
So I had to go get it. And now we still had,
And you couldn't call
And
it
there's no
that
cell
into-
phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
can't call anybody. And Mike,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
and I was usually running the job, so
Yeah.
like I had to show up, right?
Right.
So Mike had this army tent, and it had rained during the week, and then it froze. So you know how heavy those army tents get?
Oh, yeah.
67,000 pounds.
And then it's all ice, right? So like we're trying to fold it up.
Right.
So you guys hadn't broke down camp or nothing?
No. And we had Jim's camper, I think it was on my truck, on my F-250. And we folded up this tent as tight as we could. I'm not sure how we got it through that camper door,
He just shoved it in there.
with the elk and everything we owned, because the three of us were all in my truck. And I had to drop them all off, right? I had to drop Jim off.
Now, is this still nighttime you're doing this?
This is, yeah, I think I got home at like, I don't know, 4.
This is back when men were men.
Took a shower. And
Yeah.
Because these
Went to
Took a
Sallies,
shower and went to work.
these Sallies
Yeah,
today
took
be
a
like,
shower and went to work.
"Oh, I'm just gonna text my boss and say that I'm not gonna make it."
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I think I was the boss. I couldn't text myself.
No.
Well, they don't build them like Walt's anymore. I'll tell you that much.
It's just what
So you went
But
you
we
went
did-
all night. You pulled into the
Went out.
driveway probably,
I think it was about 4.
jumped in the shower, took a shower,
Right.
and
Still
then left.
drunk.
Probably.
And then went to work.
Yeah, and then went to work. Yeah.
Okay. Holy hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of caffeine the next day, I'm sure.
That's one of those days where you go, man, I'm going home and I'm going right to bed. You
Yeah.
know? And then the day progresses and someone says, hey, you want to stop and get a beer?
Yep. No, I know those
And that's
days.
what
Oh, you know what? I think I can.
That's exactly
I
what
think I
I'm
can
doing
have a
right
beer.
now.
Oh, I may be able to have
It's
one.
crazy how much the human body can really take when you put it through it.
I wanted to go to bed so bad when I got home. And I had a cup of coffee, and then I was like, well, we're going to do a podcast. I guess I'll have a cocktail and a beer and get back after it.
And then you hear that story and you're like, oh, I could go all night.
Yeah.
I'm going to work as soon as you guys leave.
That's awesome.
I did something kind of like that on the last trip.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got back, and we went to bed about 3 o'clock, and I got up at 5 a.m. the next
know.
morning and got out there.
You did that on my bear hunt, on that Quinault hunt.
Did I do that?
We shot that bear.
Oh, yeah. We shot that bear.
We
It
went
was
back.
It was like 8:15, and we got back to the trailer at like 10:30.
Yep.
And then I hopped in my truck and I drove all the way home. It was like 3-hour drive. I got home about 2 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah, like-
got up the next day and went to work.
Slept for 2 hours maybe.
Yep.
And I got back. You're driving home.
I think I got home and then you called me like as I was almost getting home saying that you were finally done and you're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, because I was in the campground, so I skinned the bear, and I'm like, I still hadn't gutted it, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to,
Yeah, you're not going to
So I drove,
toss it there.
and I'd never been over there, so I drive it back out to East Jesus,
Yeah.
basically where we shot the bear, dump the guts, drive all the way back to camp,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I guess I'll just put this thing in a game bag and
have a cocktail and go to bed.
have a cocktail, watch some Letterkenny, and hey, Doug.
Sometimes you're better off not going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because then you just you go to sleep and then you wake up all weird and
Or you don't wake up.
yeah, or you don't wake up. I've had plenty of those nights.
So let's do the giveaway, Jim.
Okay,
So the giveaway is for the Fall Cabin podcast that we did a couple weeks ago.
the Matt Hartsock special.
Yeah, Matt Hartsock special.
We
And-
had
We had 3 skinners and 3 boners.
3 boners and 3 skinners.
These are knives, guys.
Get your minds out of the gutters.
Yeah, Chris.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Matt Browder, 669.
Come on down.
Come on down, Matt Browder.
You are the lucky winner.
Winner, chicken dinner. We have Matt Browder from the Washington Waterfowl Association. We met him at that event, and he donated the prints. I believe the federal duck stamp prints.
I think he called me and wanted to buy my boat.
I think he did call you and want to buy your boat. I believe it has a 40-horse motor. It's going. It's gone.
It's gone.
Don't let Chris do your auctioning for you. He'll degrade all of your people in front of you.
And,
Allegedly.
and it comes
Allegedly.
with free water donuts in Jim's Pond.
Yeah, waterfowl hunting is great there.
Yeah.
It is pretty good.
You
Let's
can-
be completely
It
honest.
really is. I
If
mean,
you want to do some frog hunting, come on down.
There's some wood ducks.
lots of wood ducks.
Dude, I've never seen so many wood ducks.
I have. You know what? I've yet to shoot a wood duck at the house.
Yeah, because you like looking
I'm
at
getting
them too much.
no. I'm getting soft, dude. I'm becoming that guy. The guy who
You're a
likes
bird
to
watcher now?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, your dad came over to take pictures, and I feel bad now. I'm like, I can't shoot any of
Is
these.
he rubbing off on you?
There wasn't any wood ducks there. It's
Classic.
a bunch of bull.
Classic. There's no wood ducks.
Walt,
A bunch of
Walt
goddamn
couldn't even get a picture of
mergansers. He's
a
like,
wood
eh.
I'm like, they're here all the time. I
The
don't know
funny
what to
thing
tell you.
is like he told me that story, and then when he was telling me that story, you sent me a video of a wood duck
yeah.
as I was telling him about that. Like, really?
There was so many wood ducks that showed up right after you guys
Yeah,
left. There was
yeah.
like 30 wood ducks. Well, yeah,
That's
whatever.
hilarious.
Anyways,
Well, You're the lucky winner there, Matt.
Yep. Congratulations.
From one Matt to another.
That's right.
And until next time, stay humble, hunt hard.